Good morning and welcome to the Media Speaks Live Saturday morning news show. David Lake of the Media Speaks. Today we have a very exciting show, Space, the Final Frontier. Exploration and anomalies. We're going to talk about NASA, get into the moon, Mars, Venus, all this other stuff. It's going to be great. I'm joined this morning by Kyle Phillips. Kyle.
How you doing, D-Lake? Great to be on the show.
Excellent. We're also joined by Sam Ibideganji. Sam of the Great and the Van Passing Time, Samuel.
Greetings, unsettled souls. Welcome to the Saturday edition. And D-Like, tell everybody why usually I'm news from the science front, but today I'm going to be like news from the science back.
News from the science side.
Side, yes. We have someone even greater schooled in it, my friends.
Our science major on the Media Speaks, Sam, is going to be flanking our resident expert joining us today. What's Up in the Sky 37 on YouTube. Click on his website, www.whatsupinthesky.com. Everyone, welcome to the show, Will Farrar. Will!
What's going on, D-Lake?
How's it going, man?
Good, man. Thank
I'm
you guys for
excited
having me
about
on.
this.
You're chilling there in Maryland, or what?
Yeah, I'm still here in Maryland. Still in Maryland. You still out there in the cold weather with your kitty cats?
Oh, I'm in beautiful sunny San Diego, my friend. So I haven't really had to worry too much about the
I'm
cold
the freezing one. I'm in Ohio. I'm the freezing one.
Yeah,
Sam's
me and
in
Sam
Ohio?
are in the northern Midwest. I don't know about you, Sam, but we got about 2 feet of snow here.
In
Good,
Illinois.
because most of the snow that I bruised my rib in is like melting away, and I need new snow to snowboard. So good news.
All right, so we are scattered around the United States of America. And,
But that's just one country on one planet, D-Lake.
yeah, that's what I was just about to say, dude. It's not like, I mean, we're kind of like rocks on Mars, you know, or something like that. But Will, we're so excited to have you on the show today. We want to get into your website, whatsupinthesky.com, talk about some of your research and exploration and investigation into things like the rover photographs. I mean, can I start this out, Will, by asking where do you get these photos that you analyze on your What's Up in the Sky program?
To be honest with you, I used to go out and find them. Some of them, when I first started making the videos, they were like the first 100 or 200 were like known anomalies out there, stuff that were already posted on every website that really, it's just scattered across the World Wide Web. I mean, there's just stuff everywhere in the internet, on Facebook. So I tried to get like one. So I thought to myself, I'm going to try and get one place, and it's basically share the link, because one of the problems is a lot of these videos, they don't have links to the pictures, so you don't even know if you're really looking at something somebody made up in their home or not. And so the first 100 I did those, the known anomalies, and some of the ones I would get. I started sharing my email address on the videos and in the taglines, and now I probably get like 20 to 50 pictures every day on the will@willfarrar.net, come in, people saying, check this out. Like I had to come up with a whole system to show how, where to tell me where the anomaly is, because some people don't have the software to circle it and stuff. So it's becoming a general public thing. So if somebody has something they want to see, and I've kind of garnered more subscribers that way too. They're like doing the work for me. I surely don't mind.
So you're kind of the guy that people will find these things going to the NASA website, the live satellite feeds and stuff, the live webcams, and see something, but they don't know how to screen share and how to get it out to people. So you're kind of like the center, the person they go to.
Yeah, one of the guys out there. There's a bunch of us doing it. Like I said, before I started getting into this, it was more like the scary music in the background and like a picture of a rock coming up really quick on you, and like stuff like that. But I just started talking on them, man. Some of my videos go 30 minutes long. I honestly don't see how people can sit and watch them. I am still utterly amazed that people can sit and watch those videos. I mean, it's just me babbling about some picture for 10 to 15 minutes, but people seem to eat it up. I mean, they can't get enough of it.
For our listeners, we were talking off air. You could tell you're on to something, because I like the coffin find, but you said that's the small peas in the bottom of the big soup. What are some of the more interesting stories that you're saying that you should have that they should have get latched onto. In other words, the coffin is not even remotely the main item on your site, is it?
Well, sure,
Yeah.
but can I also just add to that? What Sam's referring to is
Yes.
you actually broke big into a wider media and the mainstream media actually. I mean, featured on RT, the Times, different news media sources and outlets. But where Sam was going, what we talked about just a little bit before the show was that you never know which finds or which observations are going to hit. And that coffin story really took off. And like, how do you feel that played out, Will?
You mean I tell you what, you have no idea what's going to hit and what's not. The things I think would be, everybody will see it. Everybody, it's never the ones that hit. I had it first started the first one I got that really started to garner a lot of the views and stuff coming in was the Mars videos where it was helmet on Mars and RT ran it. It's just a little baby helmet. I mean, it's no more the size of, like you'd put on a little Cabbage Patch Kid doll or something, and it looks like a World War II helmet. And I said, or World War I helmet. I said in the video, WWW1 helmet on Mars. Well, a bunch of blogs ran with it, and what they did was they picked it up and they put the word Nazi in there. They say Nazi helmet on Mars, and this is just how.
Oh, what?
And it went viral, boy. It went through everything. This RT ran it. Now RT, I must say, didn't run it with the Nazi headline. They actually. Because I never said Nazi, it was funny. We were sitting there watching this thing blow up, and that was the first taste of the mainstream media I got. It went on, it was on Yahoo Mail, or not Yahoo Mail, like on Yahoo, the front page when it was on one of the,
Wow.
I think Brazil, something like that. So that was like the first one that actually got some attention. Here and there, I have some other ones that get like some of the smaller websites will pick it up, but then you get something like the coffin on Mars. This was as well as New Year's Eve, or I had no idea it was going to be hitting big. I put the video out the day before, and the Daily Times picked it up and ran away with it. There's a guy named Scott Waring who runs a website called UFO Sightings Daily. He's kind of like I said, some of the stuff he posts is questionable, but some of my stuff I think could be questionable anyway. When I'm really getting into it and getting interested, I'm saying, oh, that's that. This looks like that. So he pushes it forward. When he puts out one of my videos, it always gets about 3,000 or 4,000 more hits than it would just on my own, subscribers and stuff. So he somehow put that out, and the Times picked it up. The next thing you know, RT had it, and then it just went viral. I mean,
cool.
It was on the I FN Love Science page there. It went from this. It went from being a coffin, alien coffin on Mars. And it even had my name in it. It was the first. The Nazi helmet didn't have my name. It just had the "What's Up in the Sky 37." They actually wrote an article about it. And another thing I learned about how the media just pastes and copies everything throughout it and changes one or two little words in it and calls it their own. And that thing
you
went
have no
viral.
idea how many interviews we've done, and then it ends up on somebody else's channel with their own graphics. But the helmet thing, this is my question, is you do a story about this helmet, and of course the media runs with it, and they say World War II Nazi helmet. Now, a lot of people are hardcore into the whole Nazis in space, Nazi moon base, Nazi hollow earth theories. I mean, so much so that they've even made a bunch of movies about it. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because, yeah, they kind of spun your story, but how many more people saw it because they put that spin on it? So is that good or bad?
Yeah, it's one of those. It's like kind of a good and bad thing. I didn't care. It's not like they were saying I was saying how pro-Nazi guy I was doing it. I didn't have people coming. It's amazing some of the stuff I get.
It's surprising, though. It's surprising.
Yeah, it kind of. Well, in a way, it's surprising. It's not surprising that they ran it like that because they want hits, and basically the world there. When it's come to now, it's not views, it's the clicks. It's how many advertisings can be clicked to make the money now, especially on those websites. That's how even like MSNBC and these companies are learning. That's how they make their big money is through advertising on their websites. A lot of advertising comes through there. So if Nazi pulls them in, and you're right about that, there's not just space stuff, but there's a whole bunch of people interested in World War II, but the fact that they did that and ran it, it was the Brazilian channels that started it out too, because they were Yahoo Brazil that did it. I just pulled it up and looked at it and made sure.
And it's interesting because it's rumored to be where Hitler went, but that's irrelevant. It's where a lot of living Nazis did go, was to Brazil and Argentina. So there is a lot of that still down there. By that I do not mean Nazis. I just mean knowledge of the culture. Whereas Americans, you say it's a Nazi helmet, they're too stupid to know it could be a motorcycle helmet. Everybody in this country is an idiot. But when you go to Brazil, they know about World War II. They know about history, and it was ingrained into them because someone had escaped there. That to them it would look more like it because they know a little more about what they're seeing.
Yeah, there's an entire population of people in Argentina with blonde hair and blue eyes just because of that. Like,
well, let me ask you this: like on your channel and stuff, and you have over 500 videos. You just have 1 million people watching all your videos in total, and just like, I don't know, what was it, 9 million or something? Hey, it's just
if you hit about, I think it says it on there.
Yeah, all right.
Good
Let's see some of your stats. But what I was going to ask Will is, like you said, the coffin, and then the helmet that got turned into a Nazi helmet. You're saying, okay, it's kind of the thing that's surprising is how many hits those particular videos garnered. What would you consider? Over 6 million views. What would you consider to be one of the videos of yours or one of your observations or anomalies that you think more people should be checking out?
Well, there was one, but the one that there's a couple really that I said that curiosity when it got there. The whole mission was to find water, find the ancient water. Was this a lake? Find out to test the water. Because they scooped it up. Well, they got there and they scooped up this sample. It was from the driest part of the bed too, where they took it up, and it came out. It had 2% water in it, and the media flipped. 2% water on Mars. You could have that's so much water. Well, as the rover's driving by, go ahead and type up on there. What's up in the sky 37? Search my channel for water on Mars. These things were driving by, leaking water coming from the mountainside, from the rocks, coming up either from a spring or coming from dew. It was amazing, these pictures. Let me see if
I have not seen that one. I have. I saw the. It looked like the. I know it's not a donut, but for reference, the jelly donut. Remember that the Mars rover passed this rock that wasn't there, and then suddenly it was.
Yeah, it just showed up there.
There were 1 million stories about that. People speculating that it might be some sort of mushroom, that it might be like a fungus.
Yes. Now, the water is even more interesting. I hadn't heard about this, so I'm hyped. I have an order, by the way, of things I want to ask you about. We'll get to it next.
And the water stuff, like I said, you can see it dripping. Hopefully you can pull it up and just, if you look at the thumbnail of it, you can see it on there. It's pretty, I said, it's obvious. And if I saw it and I got 300 emails about it in 2 days, somebody down there at NASA or JPL saw it, and it was at the point where they could have turned the rover around and went and sampled that. Wouldn't you want to sample, even if it's not water, let's just say it was just a liquid, and
yes.
I really wish I could show you guys it on the screen.
D-Lake's on it.
Yeah,
Go for it, D-Lake.
I'm getting into the video right now. I just wanted to point out at the beginning
That's
of
a
your
different
video.
one. Hold on. That's another one. Go hit back one. I got so many more.
But hold on, Will. Your tagline, I see what I see, you see what you see. Open your mind. I mean, that's pretty powerful to me. I like the way that you state that.
Hey, that's really caught on with people because, I keep changing my mind with this stuff. I got to keep my mind open when it comes to these things. And I'm like this with anything with life. Keep going down a little bit. These are just the...
But NASA lies about water, amount of water on Mars. Which one should I click into?
Keep on going down a tad. Right there, running water. If you can see it, it's coming right out of the side. You can see it dripping down there in the thumbnail.
Go ahead and hit mute, because anytime you talk, it'll take the screen share off of D-Lake.
He's got it. D-Lake can control it.
He can do it that way? Oh, okay, great. Let me mute that.
Sam, I got it. Yeah, some of the fake sand videos look like running sand. Like, does the sand? I mean, aren't there winds on the surface of Mars?
Yeah, there are winds. There's the whole weather pattern up there. Most people don't. Most people I've been led to believe by movies, growing up.
Whoa! Oh, that's what you're talking about in this video.
Yeah, you see that? I mean, does that look like liquid? Now, if the whole mission was to go get water or go to see how much water is there and look for ancient water, and wouldn't you stop to take a look at that and at least sample that area? It could be any type of liquid. That could be something that could be some new substance that we don't even know that could power, who knows?
There's obviously nothing casting that as a shadow. I mean, you can see the other shadows darker. I mean, Will, this is the stuff you want to get into. That looks like running water to me!
Yeah, the whole it's coming, and that's where you would see it.
Yes.
That's like
why would you not look at that? We've said that so many times on this show.
And why would these things don't go big? I mean, if you can look, it's probably got 5,000 views or something like that. Nothing in the scheme of YouTube. I mean, somebody puts up a monkey jerking off, they get 5 million hits in a matter of 2 minutes.
Don't bash my videos, man. But I go back and forth with this. If I could play devil's advocate to it, like when NASA sends like a lander on Mars, that's an insanely expensive undertaking. They plan those things out for years, where it's going to go, what it's going to sample. And so one side of me says, well, you got to keep with the mission that you meant to go there for, because that's what you were given the money for. That's what you know is most likely not to have any issues in between, anything breaking down. But the other side of me says, like you just said, who knows what that is, and isn't the point of the mission to explore? If you come across something you didn't expect, shouldn't you look into it? And I think NASA has a really tough time right now with, like, people like you are actually really good for NASA, because they get people involved, they get people interested, and they get the public to want NASA to be funded so that they can see more of this. But the other side is, like, they're still a part of government, and government doesn't like people like you. Like, they don't like people like us, and so they kind of got to play funding politics at the same time, Well, I think they're in a tight spot between, like, people like you and people like the Congress, who gets to decide how much money they have.
And you'd be surprised. To start off how little of the mission is planned when you go up there. I mean, basically the mission is to get the dang thing to land on Mars. That's the big hooray. And once you're down there, you take a look at what you've got. You look at your instruments, and you go from there. So they're driving by these things. They could have very easily taken that sample, and they saw. Like I said, I got 30 emails. They have gotten
stuck on the way over, or not?
Yeah, I mean, very, very, very easily. And they plan it a little bit at a time going forward, but that was in an area they hung around for a while too. So they very might have well taken some samples that we didn't see on the pictures. And there's video cameras on there. I haven't seen one video come from the rover.
That's the other side that kind of plays into what I was saying, that there's other powers that are controlling what NASA is able to do. Like, I saw something recently. They have live feeds on just about everything, and there was one, they have a live feed on the International Space Station. And all of a sudden, in the live feed, there was like this random orb in space that like came up behind the International Space Station, and then they cut the feed for like 10 minutes. Yeah, so it's like, what's going on there?
I saw a video about that, and then how they showed how they cut the feed. I mean, it's obfuscation. That's it. The idea is to keep. I guess there's a public line that they tow with it. That gets into so much more deeper things and politics.
I had four stories I wanted to mention and see what you had thought of them, and all of them. One of them start on Earth, and we go all the way out. So you were talking about the way that the media likes to portray those who have an interest in that as unusual. And Project Blue Book, the U.S. Air Force UFO documents revealed. This was just put out on my birthday, January 25th of 2015, by the BBC News. And what is there a picture of? The guy from Mars Attacks. So that as soon as you start reading, you have it in your head that this is something that only crazy people would talk about. But then when it gets into the 5-point bulletin, and I'm going to read the bulletin, listeners definitely want to look the article up. Project Blue Book had a sizable mission. The origins of the ambitious project can be traced on June 1947. U.S. UFO researcher Alejandro Rojas tells the BBC. And it was in Open Minds magazine. It talks about a flying saucer flying over Washington State. It did so to such a degree that the government did exactly what it is that they said that they never do. They all convened on one place, came up with a really stupid explanation that they never showed anybody the parts of, and called everybody that believed in it crazy. 2, Project Blue Book was created in a time of public unease. It was formed in the years immediately following World War II, again, going to the Nazi thing. Project Blue Book was intended to stop the spread of public unease about the growing number of reported UFO sightings, including over such landmarks as the White House and the U.S. Capitol, using the Second World War, the end of the war, to obfuscate any truth about it. 3. Many of the Project Blue Book cases appear open and shut. Though many credible sources from Navy admirals, nobody ever talks about that, admirals, you do not become an admiral if you're a nutcase, usually, to military and civilian pilots reported seeing UFOs. Most of the cases investigated by Project Blue Book were deemed caused by weather balloons, swamp gases, meteorological events, or even temperature inversions. There's only 2 more points. Some Project Blue Book cases aren't so easily explained. Greenwald and Rogers report more than 700 Project Blue Book entries could not ultimately be explained by investigators. Many such cases cited insufficient data or evidence. So they just say that there's not enough data anytime that they can't prove something. And 5, there is still information to be uncovered about UFO activity. Greenwald has amassed a stockpile of government documents, he says, still many he and the public have yet to have access. So if they have a lot of information and they don't want you to know about it, then they simply hide the entire case from you. What do you think of those 5 points?
Well, that whole program was designed, I guess, to pretty much mop up and ease the public's concern. And I do think a lot of, and there was also, the CIA just came out, I think, and tweeted just recently that, back during the 60s and the 70s, that was us. That we were the UFOs that you saw. It was our spy planes. It was our bombers. It was our testing and stuff like that. And I think there's a lot of that. But it doesn't go to touch the numerous military people that have come out.
Isn't that a really easy explanation, though, too, to be like, oh, it wasn't anything nefarious, it was us just being really awesome back then? Like, that's kind of the self-aggrandizing.
Well, leave it to an official source to put it like that. But
yeah. The one time that it did happen was when the stealth bomber, it was seen, and it was obviously one of those missed instances where people called a UFO something we were working on. And they used that in every instance of every sighting as the one time that they were right.
And then, to get back to the point about the the ridicule and stuff that comes along with it, that's a lot of what that did. They dismissed it, and then anybody else who thought about it, they were just crazy farmers out in the fields having a little bit too much moonshine. They seeing stuff. When they said when you were talking about the military people, they had a disclosure. It was a meeting that they pulled together. It was like a mock house type setting with the Congress where there's testified. I think it was like 10 or 20 military people, people who worked in various branches, all testified that not only were there, there were things in our airspace, that they were also shutting down nuclear plants and nuclear missiles. They were playing around, tinkering with some of our stuff. And these are people that are putting, most of them towards the end of their life. And if you guys are interested, if you're listeners or watchers are interested, Dr. Stephen Greer, he's been a leader in that front of pushing disclosure, which disclosure, if you guys know what that is, that's the disclosure of the aliens, basically, or it's not, they've made alien a bad word. It's like you say alien, you automatically think nutcase, but it's what we don't know, the unknown out there.
Yeah, Dr. Stephen Greer, if I'm remembering correctly, I think he's been on Joe Rogan Experience, and he's been quoted quite a bit in some of the books by Jim Marrs.
Yeah, and I found him to be a legitimate source. Like I said, a lot of people call him a disinfo agent. I get called a disinfo agent all the time. It's amazing what gets tossed around. So apparently I work for NASA and the government, if you listen to some of the people that come to the channel and comment.
And Will, how much do you get paid by NASA?
Yeah, not enough.
Hopefully
not
a few bucks. Well, jumping from that, it's obvious that at least within the United States, anybody who talks about UFOs, anybody who talks about space travel, they're immediately written off as a kook. All these generals who come out and say that they've seen anomalies. We talked before the show about Dennis Kucinich was essentially completely outed from the Democrat primaries in 2008 for saying that he saw a UFO once. The same thing happened in the Republican primaries to Newt Gingrich for saying, and I'm not a fan of Newt Gingrich, but he said that he wanted to establish a moon base, which sounds awesome to me, and they immediately out him over that. And it seems specific to the United States. Like you said, your articles get picked up in Brazil by RT, which is Russian. Countries that aren't necessarily enemies by any means, but not people that we would put on the list of the United States' top allies. Why is it that it's so hard to not be called a kook in the United States, but so easily accepted in other countries? In your opinion?
I think it's the information that they've gotten there. I mean, in America, or in a lot of the Western countries, it's a secret. And if you go to Japan, if you go to Korea, you go to these places, there's no secret about these things. It's in the Vimanas, or in not the ancient. It's in their writings. It's in their books. They know about it. It's cultured. They understand it. The Japan princess. There was a princess of Japan one time came out and said that there were aliens, and they've spoken with her before. And she might be a kook. They sure played her to be a kook in the news, but it's one of those things where there's so many instances of decent people that have,
And she had so much
degrees.
By lying. Why would she do that?
What was that?
I said she has so much to lose by lying. Why would she do that? Yeah,
it's almost like why, and in these other countries they're just so much more used to it. They talk openly about these type of things. It's everything from, I've noticed the whole paranormal world in general seems to go off much better. It's not really pushed as like new age as it is here in America, where they give it a title. Anything that's not mainstream now, they get handed a title, and then they that's how, basically once you title something, it's a really good way to demonize it. But that's just how it goes. I talk to people all around the world now. It's really opened my eyes, because when I first met D-Lake, we were root for Ron Paul down here, and we were just straight America, America, America. I had a couple friends from Europe and some other places, and friends that have left America to go some other places. And now with this channel, I mean, if you looked at my statistics for the website or from here, it's countries I didn't even know existed, hundreds. I didn't realize there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of countries that I had no idea existed. People emailing me with Google Translate now. I mean, it's a small world out there now, and it's truly amazing how much more information. There's primetime television shows in Mexico about this type of stuff.
About what's up in the sky.com. Hey, Will, we did meet what back in 2012. Both huge fans and supporters of Ron Paul. Kyle brought up Newt Gingrich back in the 2012 election, wanting to establish maybe some kind of moon bases, moon mining.
He wanted to mine it. Yeah, I remember that.
It's coming out. It just came out this past week. I was hearing that people and corporations are buying up real estate on the moon and saying, like, this is my space on the moon. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about moon colonization? And
if you can't put up a flag, it ain't yours. I'm throwing that in.
What's your opinion, Kyle? And then let's hear what Will's opinion of moon real estate is.
I think it's a great idea if you can get there and claim it. You can't claim shit you can't put a flag in. Like, that was the old way of Western colonization. The manifest destiny was, if you wanted to go out west in this country and claim land, it was given to you free by the government, but you at least had to be able to stake that land. If you can't stake the land on the moon yourself, it ain't yours. The first person to get there gets it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with that.
Oh, China, or was it Japan? One of those Asian countries, China and Japan, they want to have the first soda commercial filmed on the moon. They're trying to do that before 2016, 2017. I mean, but yeah, what are your thoughts about claiming real estate on the moon this year?
I think Kyle's right there. It's going to be first come, first serve, and that's just how it works. It should be done in a. This is one where I say it should be done in a way where everybody can benefit from it. There's a lot of resources on the moon just sitting there to be taken. Whether it's economical to get there, that's the question. Who's going to do it? Is it going to be a government that does it? It's going to be private industry.
Greece will never get there then.
There's a million different ways to have it done. And mining, I said that there's resources there. Looks like there's mining operations going on there already from the past. They looked abandoned to me. They looked like some of the moon videos I have. But I think we've probably, maybe even one time in our human history, have had moon bases before. It's not a undoable thing. I mean, look what they accomplished. If you believe we went to the moon, look what they accomplished in such a little bit of time. And back then, it was more DoD, military. It was what it was.
You're kind of leaving that. Oh, whoa! You're kind of leaving that a little open-ended for people to make up their own minds. But do you think that we landed on the moon well?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely
when you say
do.
we,
So
you
do
talk
I.
about.
So do I.
Are you saying us or prehistoric civilization?
I think prehistoric civilization. I think we've lost a whole chapter here on our own planet. You know,
Yes.
we've only
Thank God somebody.
we've only been told what the people in charge want us to know about things. If you really think about that, within 1,000 years, you can make up any history you want, tie it into any science you want. Science isn't ever. It's so ironclad now. People say, well, you're against science, you're against this. No, science is always changing. It's the whole being of it. You know, as we evolve, as we move forward, we learn more, and our old ways look stupid, you know, to us. So
I don't even think with that it's necessarily like a cover-up or them trying to rewrite history. I think it's as simple as like if an asteroid hit the Earth today, wiped out 99% of the population, in another 30,000 years we got back to the same point, we're digging up our old ruins, and we found an old book about, I don't know, about us dropping bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they'd be like, wow, that was a crazy religion these people adhered to, you know?
That's exactly how it's looked at now. When we look at these old texts of the Vimanas, and there's certain places here just on Earth that are amazing that they're pulling out. Some in Turkey, places where, you know, Mexico, all over the world, there's these old ancient, huge megalithic structures that they just don't seem to be explained very well. You know, even I think that a lot of stuff here, you can't carbon date stone, right? So you can carbon date everything around it.
You can kind of carbon date layers of sediment, but even that's not really. Like, you can carbon date, like, all right, there's this layer, then this layer, then this layer, so we can gauge it's about this old, but even that's not as good as carbon dating.
Yeah, and you're right. I don't even know if it would be a conspiracy not to let us know about our past, but I do believe there are people in the know that understand, you know, the true history of Earth probably, and what exactly had happened, the technologies that we had lost. It's probably a very select few that is past that.
I wanted to ask you, what about, and I don't want to hold you down to like a yes or a no, I believe or disbelieve, but where do you fall on things like the Book of Enki and the stories of the Anunnaki
and stuff, yeah.
To be honest, I get this question a lot from my subscribers, and I tell them, do the research yourself and let me know. I see what I see, you see what you see. In this instance, I don't own a telescope. I can't go out and see Planet X or see. I'm not a doom and gloom guy. I'm a happy person. I'm not like they come. Like, well, here's a good example of it. Comet Ison was going to wipe out the Earth if you listen to about 4 or 5 really well-respected people that do these type of videos or put out the second, kind of like you guys do, the off mainstream news. And when it was coming around, I would go to I would make these videos about ISON, and you could look up on them, and I'd tell these guys, if you really believe that our electricity is going to go out, there's the comet ISON is going to come and wipe, its tail is going to wipe out, you know, life here on Earth or something, why don't you demonetize your account and
yeah. Why are you digging a hole in your backyard right now and building a bunker with every last dime, taking out 5 mortgages in your house because it's not going to matter in a week? Like, that's the thing is, anytime somebody says the end of the world is happening, I have the same exact response. I'm so glad you said that. It's like, all right, demonetize yourself then.
Yeah, demonetize your account. Stop taking the money. Who's going to cast a check if there's no electricity? It's direct deposit. You know, Google pays direct deposit, so it's one of those things where put your money where your mouth is. Nobody would, of course, and it goes by, nothing happens, and people seem to forget that stuff. So I try and keep my channel where, like I said, I always have that tag. It goes back to I see what I see, you see what you see, and it seems to work good for people because I don't make my mind up. You know, I'm one of those people who want to keep.
Tagline. such a
I
great
want to keep my mind open. You know, it's got in order to even look at these pictures. I think you have to have your mind open. When people come with a closed mind, and you know, and they probably get 2 minutes into a video and they're like, "This is just junk. All I see are rocks here." They don't even really have a chance to see it. You know, and that's why I give the video. Go ahead.
What was it that RT was? What's that term again that they were saying? The pariasis, or when you know, if you stare at the clouds long enough, you'll see, you know, a dog or something.
I think this is how you say it. Pareidolia, something like that.
Yeah,
Pareidolia, something like that's how you say it. I'm not sure how to say it, but basically it's in our. They say through evolution, as you know, basically people that were being hunted by everything and anything, we tend to see faces and we see movement in normal things, which I believe is true. You know, we tend to put face, like if we see a picture of something that looks like a face, we see a face, but they use that word for everything. Light and shadows. That's basically what it is.
Always use the same. It's like using one science fact to blanket dispel every other science.
To translate that into our world of politics and stuff a little bit, it's the Alex Jones effect. Like, the criticism that Alex Jones gets a lot is Alex Jones is incapable of not seeing a conspiracy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Will, I mean, have you just fixed your mind to make every rock look like a face in a coffin or whatever?
Yeah, basically what I do is when I look at a picture or somebody sends me something, I look at the main anomalies and see, all right, well, what is it? What does it look like here on Earth? That's the only thing I can equate it to is what I've. And this is one thing where everybody has they've lived a different life than me. They've seen different things than me. They've experienced. They've learned different things. So I can only see what I see. And when I'm looking at these pictures, I do it with an open mind that that there most likely was a civilization there, and I do put this in my head just to be able to see it, that there was most likely a civilization on Mars. That was wiped out at some point, and it was technological enough to make megalithic structures like we have here on Earth. I keep that in my mind. So I don't see
I have a question then, which is to try and put a little perspective on everything. Are there any conspiracies or any theories about Mars or the moon or anything in your realm of what you study? Are there any theories out there that you will say you do not believe, that you think are nonsense?
I don't believe the Apollo 20 mission ever happened, or the Apollo 18, whatever they say with the Mona Lisa. I think that's a bunch of junk. I actually have debunking videos. It's sad because people have started seeing how many hits you can get. There's a couple channels out there who've come along and they'll put up anything that's blatantly not true. Stuff that could take 1 or 2 minutes of research to find out that it's not.
Yeah, this is
true.
an anomaly. There's entire websites dedicated to just printing up bullshit articles, and I see them on Facebook all the time, and it's like, it's hard to tell somebody that you're like good friends with on Facebook, like, hey, you should have done your fucking research. This isn't even a real website.
Yeah, I know, right?
I hate that.
Like they upload something like a spoof website, and it's like they're passionate behind it. It's just that everything looks that good on the internet. Anybody can make a website. Look at that. I made that website. Took me a week to do.
Which is good and bad.
Let me just read. If everyone please visit whatsupinthesky.com. Will Farrar. This is your website, I believe.
Yes, sir. Now what I've done is I've made it a place where people can. There's like 20 or 30 other guys that do this, and I've given them. They've all got logins, and they can upload their videos as well. So there's a whole bunch of people putting on there. It's nice. I go to my website now to check out the new things and get into forums. I've kind of made it a little bit of a hub for some of us who are, and especially people who are off Facebook, because a lot of stuff happens on Facebook now, and there's a whole world outside of Facebook that's not being used. So that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to dump everything at one site. And people seem to want to put their videos up there. They get extra hits. It helps the website. And I leave it up to them. Look, if they want to believe what they believe, I let them post whatever they want. So I'm not one to tell them no. Even though I do those debunking videos, I've had to do them because there's people out there that are getting millions of hits that are lying, and I don't want one of my subscribers thinking that something's true when I know it's not, and I know they got duped by it because everybody else just saw it too.
Have you ever dealt with somebody who, like, you start off on a really good path, you give them a login or whatever, let them start posting to the website, and, like, there's some people who, I don't know if they're clever or insanely dumb, but they'll lead you down a rabbit hole. Like, the example I would give of, like, a hypothetical for your website, somebody comes on and they start talking about, you know, theories of Nazis going to the moon after World War II, and that they actually had better technologies, and that UFOs are all Nazis, and before you know it, the Holocaust didn't happen. Like, do you ever have issues like that?
Not yet. It's a very select few people I let do it. The people that have access to my site have access to the full thing. They could take it. They could just delete everything if they wanted to. It's backed up, but it's backed up daily. I'll put it right back up. But you know, so it's one of those things where if I've given them access, I trust them. So it hasn't happened yet. Now, I put my trust in a lot of people. I don't really know. So one day it could happen, but I'll be looking out for those.
Well,
moving on. Give me the password and grant me access. Will, allow me to read this for you from your website, whatsupinthesky.com. Thank you for visiting our growing community of researchers, authors, and individuals, and people like D-Lake who get the password and try to delete the whole site, who are interested in the mysterious and unknown aspects of our amazing universe. Well, that's me. WUITS, or What's Up in the Sky, offers a place for researchers to post their work somewhere that like-minded people can offer ideas and critiques without the ridicule and trolling that comes with Facebook and other mainstream websites. We do not censor our authors, nor do we endorse any certain views or comments posted on our site. Enjoy the articles, images, and forums. Wow! Be sure to register for the site in order to post in the forums and access more links and information. Thank you, Will Farrar.
I'm about to come to get you to do some drops for me, man. So you could.
Yeah, sure. You need some audio drops. Me and Kyle.
Yeah, man.
We'll help you out. And Sam. Yeah, for sure.
But that's it. That sums it up.
.com.
So who are some of the
featured narrator for today's episode? No, okay, Kyle. What'd you want to say, Kyle?
Who are some of the other people out there? You mentioned Dr. Stephen Greer, who I'm a fan of. I like him a lot. Who are some of the other people that you might like or disagree with within the community? Like, I'm talking like, you know, there's obviously, we can't go this episode without mentioning the name David Icke. There's people like Jim Mars, and there's Eric Van Doniken. Like, who are the people that you look up to and like, and people that you kind of would distance yourself from?
Yeah, give us some shout-outs, Will.
You know, it's hard. You know, it's hard. The people that I see out on like the TV now that I've booked on Coast to Coast AM all the time, if they've kind of got this little bubble of there's research like Stephen Greer. I definitely think he's a straight up guy. But a lot of these other guys, I mean, it's hard to tell whether they're in it just for the money or whether they're in it for something else. And there's not a lot of money there to be made anyway. Some people think that cause I just did it. I just say if they're in it for the money or not. But it's one of those things where you really, some people are saying some crazy stuff and.
I disagree. There's money out there because David Icke sold out Madison Square Garden. I mean,
that's what I was just about to talk about. I was like, David Icke. There's guys like that whose story changes as they go. If you do some 10 minutes of real research on the guy, you'd want to distance yourself from him. There's pioneers that you go back here. J.P. Skipper, he's one of the guys that I first started looking at. He's not a really famous guy, but he did Mars research. I really, he was one of the first websites I stumbled up on and have covered many of his finds and stuff like that. Now we've got everybody who posts on my website. These are the guys I really think are the cream of the crop. I could give you a list of names, but there's probably 20 of them, and to put you on the spot, nobody would know who they are unless I just tell you, go to my channel. If you go to whatsupinthesky.com, and if you click on channels, or there's a button there that says channels I support. Check those out. Sub to all those. If you come sub to me, sub to them. You're gonna get if you enjoy this type of stuff, it's like a gamut. They do everything from Moon, Venus, Mars. But you got, like I said, when it comes to just distance yourself from people. You gotta be careful. I really like Jose Escamilla. He's one of the guys who have done some videos out there like Celestial and Moon Rising, who's actually had some mainstream exposure. Richard C. Hoagland, a lot of guys think he's a con artist. I've enjoyed his research. I'm not, I've never talked to the guy. A lot of people reach out to me and say I should reach out to these guys, but I tell you what, I got a full-time job. I'm an IT director for a health company. And it's hard to get this stuff. It's kind of this has turned into a second job almost in a way. It's like if I don't put up videos, like people get disappointed. You know, it's amazing. I don't want to disappoint the people. I want to keep moving forward because I've got enough pictures here that people have sent me to make videos probably every day for the next 5 years. I mean, that's how much stuff's there. Now I also have probably a pile of no's, 10 times that size. So I don't think every picture has anomalies on it.
Yeah.
But there's enough work for me to keep rocking and rolling when it comes
So
to
you're fairly
stuff.
objective, and what you're kind of saying too, and then I'll let D-Lake ask you what he's going to ask, but you're kind of saying you don't want to necessarily endorse or not endorse anybody specifically who's in the mainstream, and I can kind of hear that because a lot of these people, they're really interesting, but you're not 100% sure about them. Like I go back and forth. I don't know if you know David Wilcock. Like,
yeah, I go back and forth on him when he says he's the reincarnated. Like when he says he's the reincarnated Edgar Casey, I lose him. I'm like, I don't know. I lose him there. Now there's also some people just in the Mars movement. Andrew Basiago, he's a lawyer that runs one of the big Mars groups. I'm sure somebody probably give me crap if they see this. He says he's teleported to Mars, and President Obama was there. He's a lawyer. He's a lawyer from Washington, and people hit you with that. He's a lawyer. Like okay, well he made it through law school.
That's definitely credible.
Law school.
Crazy people can get through law school.
Yeah, anybody could go to school and get grades. So that doesn't mean he's telling the truth. Now, like I said, I'll probably get banned from that group now, but either way, I don't really like I said, I don't want to tie myself in with those people. I've done really well just kind of staying in the background, running my thing how I do, and staying away from talking to these people or talking to that people. I collaborate with my guys that I trust.
So you're objective and outside of the circle. I think that's fair.
Yeah, and I'm trying to really. I tell you, I use a lot of research, and I always give credit to the people who find this stuff. Like if there's somebody who found it before me, or I know of, because these things are basically there's a lot of eyes going on these pictures now, and it probably does do. Somebody said it earlier how these videos do NASA good in a way because it drums up support for space and to really if somebody comes and watches my video and they think, oh man, this guy's a freaking lunatic, I can't believe what he's saying, he thinks that
right there is exactly why I wanted to get you on the show, because last week we were talking about how NASA is sort of improving their space propaganda and reasons for us to get into space. I mean, an article came out this week about Obama. He wants $500 billion or something like that. He wants more money for military spy satellites, lasers, and a space fence, which I assume is to keep out the illegal Martians and also to clean up space debris and junk like that stupid spatula that's still floating out there. I would be remiss if we didn't cover fake sand on Mars, at least at one point in this video, but I do want to get to another article that Sam had. Can you briefly just describe the fake sand and just whet people's appetite to go look that up on your channel, fake sand?
Well, I've got probably 2 or 3. There's a blur tool somebody's using. I don't know where it's getting done. Somebody or something. I had tested. I'm not sure. Look, when I come and look at this stuff, I didn't drive the rover to Mars. I wasn't on it. I don't even know if the rover's on Mars. I think it could be roaming around the desert somewhere for all I know. I've been told by NASA these are raw images that come from Mars. So that's what I'm going off when I look at these things. And when I see a picture that has an obviously square blur mark or a square sand that looks like the color of the sand that covers a piece of a rock and it's straight up and down, I say, what is going on here? One of my last videos, if you check it out, it's pretty blatant and obvious that somebody accidentally slipped a little bit with the paste and copy. And I said, it could be the rover that looks for these things. I mean, with the technology we have now, just they can tell you are somebody, an individual, by the way you type. The way you type is it's individual to you. It's like your fingerprint. There's so much stuff they can do, especially with the optic. They can tell your walk. They could set the rover to look for anomalous things and get rid of them. Just a matter of a couple algorithms and dropping a blur tool in here or there, and that might be how this stuff's getting into it. Maybe it's not being done by NASA or JPL. Maybe it's done on Mars. Maybe they know what they were getting into when they sent it there. But there's a lot of people who believe that some of the sand that they put, that's like the key to getting rid of stuff, is to put the fake sand over. It's basically just that's just a sandy area. Now,
I've seen videos of this, to play devil's advocate to that. I've seen similar things with satellite photos from the moon where you can see these blur marks and stuff. And just going off of the technology that's out in the public, I mean, I don't know if you've ever tried to take a panoramic picture with like a modern smartphone where you hold the button and you move it and it takes a panoramic shot. If you jiggle that phone, you get a similar thing. I mean, you get like a little blur in the spot, and these are taking panoramic images in a sense, right? So is it possible that that's just part of the technology?
It very well could be. Could be image artifacts, and I always leave that open. It's one of those things where it's like you got to look at it, and for yourself, say what you think. It's one of those. The transmissions, usually when something gets dropped in transmission, it'll be a black rectangle. It won't look like the sand. And usually when it's over something that looks interesting. It looks like something you would say, "Oh, that's kind of weird. I've never seen a rock shaped like that here." So it's one of those things where and I've only got 2 or 3 videos about it. There's a lot more on the web of just people saying the fake sand. But I also look at the other pictures. If I get a picture from somebody, there's another 12. 14 picture cameras going off at any given time. There's has cams, there's nav cams, there's the mass cam, which is a color cam on this rover. This thing's pretty badass, I must say.
I wish it had more video versus just pictures, but
they all can take video. Every single one of those are capable of taking video. It's sad we don't see it. We don't see any of it.
Okay, well.
Do you think these Adam and Eve people will have video? Go, delay. Yes.
Yeah, Adam and first of all, Will, do you find this female attractive?
Yes, Maggie.
Will
am I about to find out she's a man?
Will she be allowed to video?
You're familiar with Maggie Lou, then.
Will she be allowed to use a video camera? That's my question.
Adam and Eve of another planet. Britain from... She bids to be the first woman to give birth to a Martian, and hey, I would have.
Has she seen Alien? Has she seen Alien? Somebody needs to send her a DVD.
I was hoping that the first person would be Beyonce, so I never have to hear her sing here again, but it won't be.
I love blonde Asians, but Will, do you know about this?
No, I don't. It looks like she's probably trying to without even looking at it, she's probably trying to get on the Mars One to be one of the people that gets sent up there. There's the private company Mars One's looking to send people, start the colony on Mars.
They got like over 1 million people applying too, right? Like a lot of people want to do this.
One-way trip, yeah.
Sam, why don't you go ahead and cover the article?
Yeah, let's see what it is. Let's see.
This was a trip. Yes. Maggie Lou 24 has applied. They wrote has applied to apply. Nice typing. To be part of the first human colony on the Red Planet through a 3.9 billion euro Mars One project. It says it aims to create a permanent settlement of our race on Mars, and will start by sending 40 people in 2024 after 10 years of extensive training. She has been shortlisted to make the 140 million mile one-way journey to Mars, and she believes she could be the first woman to give birth on Mars. Miss Lou said it would be incredible to be the Adam and Eve of another planet, because it is a colonization program. It is inevitable that eventually someone will procreate, and it would be incredible to be the first mother on Mars. So basically, because they don't have a place for them to take off from once they land there, and they're concerned about the logistics of trying to build such a place, she's going to have to remain there. There are other people that say that they can do it and build a takeoff spot, that this is madness. But she'll be dealing with high levels of radiation and the creation of water and everything else.
You know what?
It'd be interesting.
Can I give just a little theory to this? They have, I've looked into this briefly, that this list of people who want to be a part of this mission is like millions and millions of people long. Like every dude with nothing else to live for has signed up and gone on this list. And so if she gets there, and I mean she's gonna have pick of the litter, she'll probably be the only woman there. She'll be treated like a goddess. Like yeah, she'll be on Mars, but she will be like of superhuman, like anything she wants.
Smurfette. Are you saying she'd be Smurfette?
Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it, Sam. She'll be Smurfette. She'll be the Mars Smurfette.
I
Looks
imagine.
like Smurfette.
I imagine this is just a ploy to get her up in the list some more. She probably really wants to go to Mars, and this is to use what you got. And I can see this just being a way to get her up. She said, what did it say? She made the 600 list. I know it was at 1,000.
40 people right now.
It's got to be like American Idol though, where we get to
It
vote
says,
in the.
Miss Lou
We get to-
added that as only 40 people are going to Mars at first, it would create a small pool of potential fathers to pick from, like Kyle. I didn't say like Kyle, I'm sorry. It does something in my eye. Something in my eye.
I want to get on the list. I want to be the first person to podcast from Mars. That would be pretty good. So I wanted to ask you, Will, like, we see in the past 10 years specifically, we've seen so much advancement into space exploration outside of NASA, which I think is really exciting. We have, what's this guy with Virgin Galactic? I forget his name.
Francis.
The guy, Branson, Richard Branson. We have SpaceX, which is, wow, I'm forgetting everybody's name right now.
I know his name. Hold on, the thing.
What was it, D-Lake?
Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk with SpaceX. We have all these different companies really making
Falcon 9
good attempts to get out into space, start doing independent research. So, say in the next, like, in our lifetimes, you're about the same age as me, maybe a little bit older. In the next, let's say, like 30 years, do you see anything really amazing happening with space technology and exploration of other planets?
Oh, it's going to happen because if the public's not doing it, India's doing it. China's doing it, and right now India's got one of the most up-and-coming programs. Yeah. They can launch a satellite cheaper than America can right now, and all business is going to them. Congratulations to the ISRO. They attempted to send. I mean, they've got big goals, and they're just shooting one mission off after another. They're able to send missions up to they're able to send stuff to the ISS. They've really taken the leap. So they're going. You know what I mean? Either way, they say they're going.
Yeah, to be fair, though, anybody can do it cheaper than us because we're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, that's very well true. And we pay a lot to do it. You know, that's why you have these companies like Elon Musk's company shooting off rockets over here. I live right by Wallops Island, and I get to see a lot of cool stuff go up. We just had a launch the other day. And, we had that big accident over here probably 3 months ago where the one blew up.
Yep.
And they lost a lot of money. That was I think that was a privately owned rocket that bid it there too.
It was.
Yeah,
I talked about that on the show.
Will, are you familiar with Drum 3A on YouTube? I don't know, but me either. But they posted a comment on this video that everyone is watching right now that we are broadcasting live. Outer Space Treaty preserves celestial bodies for, quote, the common heritage of mankind. 1967. Does that mean anything to you, Will?
That was a treaty, I believe, that was signed by most nations. I think that was, well, I forget when the UN was made. It was either the UN or one of the former predecessors of it.
Yeah, doesn't the United Nations have an ambassador to outer space?
I think they do. I do believe they do. But that outer space treaty is, I think, is kind of, you don't go thrash and trash the, other planets and things like that. Now, we've basically sent a nuclear bus that has a laser that can shoot things up to Mars. We don't seem to care about littering too much on that planet, although it does look like a planet that's already been thrashed. So it is what it is.
At this point, like, if we intentionally tried to litter Mars as much as we possibly could, it would have almost no effect. We have so little.
Effect.
Yeah.
Oh, that is something that I wanted to ask. Is there any way that space debris or things that are the result of Earth could have in any way made their way to the surface of Mars, and we could be seeing earthly debris on Mars?
I
don't really know how that's physically possible, but
a ton of ET games for Atari 2600.
Well, Mars has been one of those places that people shot for, especially the old Soviet Union. I think they they sent 40 or something, over 40. Not a lot of them, not all of them were public. To try and land on there. So there's all sorts. They just found the European Union's Beagle 1 or Beagle 2. They think they found that with the high-res camera on one of our satellites. So there's definitely human stuff up there. There's all these. It's hard to get something onto the planet.
Spatula. I know that.
What is the Beagle thing that you were talking about for our listeners?
That Beagle 2, it was I think it was European Union shot it off, or actually it might have been Europe at the time that shot that thing off, and it got lost. It was lost somewhere. The telemetry wasn't right, and they lost it. They thought they didn't know if it landed on the surface or if it went past it. Well, the rover, one of our high-rise camera comes over this area and it found it. I mean, it's amazing. We've got some amazing technology to see the ground.
I wonder if the scientists were like, "See, we did make it."
Yeah, it's there. It's there.
It did get there. If I'm remembering history correctly, there should be a lot of Russian stuff there because, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, but if I remember the official history, after the United States went to the moon and Russia pretty much realized that they couldn't replicate it, they said, all right, well, we'll try to go to Mars so that we can still do something before them. And so they shifted, once we did the Apollo missions, they shifted their energy towards sending anything to Mars, right?
Yeah, they really did, and they sent all the Phobos grunt. They just two-man. There was 2 landers, I think, and an orbiter that they sent out there, and almost all of them lost contact. But one of the really eerie ones was, I think, Phobos Grunt 2. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think that was the name of it. The last 2 pictures it saw was Phobos. It was to go look at Phobos. Phobos is the moon on Mars. It's very small, potato-shaped looking moon that flies around Mars fast, and it's got this monolith on it. It looks like square monolith. I've got a video on it. Buzz Aldrin even brought it up on Larry King Live one time, talking about how it got there. How he didn't know how it got there, that the universe put it there. But this lander was coming in, and the Russian scientists had on TV, the last thing was a rod-shaped, bright-looking UFO approaching it, and you can see the moon behind it and the UFO in front of it, and then lights out for the lander. That was the last thing, or lights out for the satellite. That was the last thing is sent back. And they were going to come to a conference with all this data they had from it, and they never showed up with all the data. But the pictures, survived the initial press release. Now, how much of this stuff, that's came out, and there's I think it was on in one of these shows. There's a couple good shows out there now on like History Channel, and some of these are starting to touch the base of these, like the moon anomalies and things like that. So they're starting to get mainstream. But even on those,
it's becoming a popular topic.
Yeah, it really is, and it's interesting. Everybody wants to know what's out there. I mean, we were sitting here on this ball looking up for
I didn't know about that Phobos. It shut down. I'm going to look at a documentary on that. That sounds amazing.
I have a theory about that moon. If you could scroll up a little bit, D,
what's it called?
Earlier pictures.
What was the
Phobos Grunt?
The craft called Grunt.
Phobos Grunt. Yeah. Grunt.
I have a theory that where that moon came from. D, if you scroll down to the second row of images. I have a theory that God didn't like olives in his martini.
It looks like a olive, doesn't it? It's a potato-shaped moon. It's amazing. They think it's hollowed out a little bit too. It's a very interesting thing. Look at the little bump on the back of it.
Yeah.
This obviously a tongue sticking out right here. He had some
It looks like a baby in a racer head.
I mean, again,
lights and shadows.
Yeah. It's a big. Oh, look at this! It's a big giant skull of something, or I don't know.
It's a crystal skull. So, random question, talking about exploration.
Skull? The crystal skull?
Talking about going into space and different things that we've attempted to do in the past. How do you feel about Voyager? I know that's been controversial for people invested and very interested in this kind of stuff. Do you think that Voyager, for those who don't know, golden record on a satellite sent into space by Carl Sagan and a group of scientists at NASA in the early 70s, and it pretty much tells them our DNA, what we look like, and our weaknesses, and do you think that's a good idea or a bad idea, or do you think it's just kind of non-effect?
I think it's probably non-effect. Anything that I'm sure. I guess they'd have to open the window of the spacecraft and get it first. I know there's have our technology. It's amazing what in the past how we've looked for these things. But as far as the Voyager, it's definitely an interesting thing. There
It
was
looks for
a
DNA, you said?
well, I know it has basically an outline of where we are in our solar system. You know where our solar system is, how we are as humanoids. There's a good YouTube video about a crop circle that came back that right next to a space telescope.
Yeah.
That it was like
It's
a
an
reply.
Yeah,
it's like-
and yeah, like type in Voyager crop circle, and yeah, it's literally the message, the binary message that we sent to them, but like with aliens instead of human stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it looks. And then like the next couple of days later, they had the face, the gray face we're used to, and it was like almost in 3D in this crop circle. It was just too. I think I know it's the most important message ever sent to Earth or something like that. There's a YouTube video out there that really goes into it good, but it's quick search of Google will pull those pictures up.
Yeah, like it's that first one, the second one right there, that's the crop circle. The first image that you're seeing right there is the actual message that we sent out into space on the Voyager. Yeah, that's the one that we sent out. And then the one that was next to it, the crop circle one, that was a real crop circle.
Yeah, look at that. That one made by a bunch of kids.
No.
Check this out.
It's huge and insanely detailed.
Let's see it.
Yeah,
And
there's like the graphed out version of it is what you were looking at there. So that's the crop circle.
Can you pull it up?
Yeah,
We'll
he's
have
got
to
it
be
right there
quiet.
on his. Like, and then the other one you were looking at, which is like the alien face holding an orb with binary code. That's the one that says like "Beware the deceivers," like the conduit is closing. That's another crazy one that it's just like, how do you explain that?
And look at the 3D aspect of these things, especially the one where he's the face of it.
Yeah, that one, the one that you just mentioned, the one that D-Lake you pulled up before, which is the face, the one right down there, which we should talk about that too, because that's when it comes to crop circles, I'm generally somebody who writes them off. But yeah, this one right here, can you see that, Will?
That's the disc. Yeah, I only see him down in the real bottom corner. I don't see him on the big screen. I just see you, Kyle.
You can click on
you can't
David
see
and it'll
it,
show
D-Lake.
it to you. Just click on it, the little square in the corner,
Ah.
and it'll show it to you. D-Lake's probably got it pulled up where everybody watching can see. But yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, this is a crop circle. That's
Okay, yeah, there it is.
You can tell that's gigantic, and inside of that orb is a ton of little squares that are actually like a basic form of binary code, and it was written, I believe, in German, and it said like beware the conduit is closing, beware of the deceivers, like there is still hope, and like all this crazy shit, which is like, if you're like, even if you're like the most elaborate prankster, you would need choreographed crop circlers practicing for a month in a secret warehouse, and none of them would had to have said anything afterwards because it appeared overnight.
Oh yeah, and what's amazing about this? If you looked at the see, there they are laying right there. The one that's got the long rectangle that's the message back that shows us where they're from and what they have and all that stuff. That in itself shows what type of telescope what type of system they're using to send it back. Because on our message we had a radio telescope that was with it. So I mean, I think if you go down. Just scroll right there. I think that had the glyph and the composite.
Go to the one that's graphed out where somebody did it on graph paper, because that one you can really see it clearly. Somebody like recreated it just like on a piece of graph paper so you can like see it really well. Yeah, that one.
And what was crazy was this was done right next to the actual fields, next to the telescope place that actually sent these messages up. It's pretty interesting. The whole thing was, it's one of the crops. I'm with you on the crop circles. They're beautiful. Some of them are just way too. It's amazing what humans can make as art. Not to give people credit, but the one with the face, that's just too cool. The face and the disc, that one right there to the bottom right.
It's amazing.
And
what,
generally, I will say as
aliens
well,
can do.
the ones that are circles, I tend to write off, because a circle, I understand how you did that. I can figure out in my brain how you could make a perfect circle that big. It's really simple, a rope on a stake. But the other more elaborate ones, like the circle that have elaborate patterns that are perfectly symmetrical inside and stuff, the one, this alien, those are the ones that I'm like, all right, how'd you make that? Like, 10 people could not have made that perfectly. There would be errors in it, and if you look at it, it looks perfect. There's no errors in it.
It showed up in the middle of the night too. Definitely in one night it showed up. It's interesting stuff. The crop circle phenomenon. There's so much cool stuff just here on Earth, to talk about and go over before we even get down to space.
Yeah, there is. Will, another one of your big features last year, the truth behind the Malibu underwater alien base, and this picture from like Google Earth underwater, and it looks like Tony Stark's Malibu mansion where submarines come out of this thing or something, or like, what is this, Will?
This is pretty amazing. This is found right off the coast in Malibu. It's a big UFO hotspot. For years, people have seen stuff going in and out of the water. They call them USOs. I think they are the unidentified sunken objects that are underwater. And somebody had noticed this on Google Earth, the topography maps that come back from I guess they do the layout. I forget what technology. I think it's sonar they use to do some of these to map this out. It looks like it was worked out like a little base and put under there. And the theory is that this is where either we've got some of our technology that is more tech, like some of our subs there, or it's a base for extraterrestrials, or one of the. We didn't talk much about this, but a lot of people think that there's already ETs here on Earth with us that are roaming, are very well hidden on Earth with us.
Yeah, we talked about David Icke.
Do they like Reese's Pieces, or what are your thoughts on that?
Do they chew bubble gum?
I don't know what they chew, to be honest with you, but they got a kick-ass Tony Stark base under the. If they could construct that, I could construct that. I'd rather not be on their bad list and talk crap about their Reese's Pieces. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
That does look insane.
Yeah, and that's supposedly the true features from there, and that's about right where Coast to Coast did a couple good shows on it where they had people calling in and talking about it. It's just fascinating, the whole area there, and then to go find that, for somebody to find that was just cool. I just covered that. I'd heard it, put it up there. What they get, 28,000 hits.
Oh yeah, for sure.
People are interested in this stuff.
What about Atlantis, the sunken city of Atlantis?
In the David Wilcock territory.
Yeah, that's how I started my channel off.
Do you want to tread there? Yeah, because I remember when I first subscribed to your channel, there was a few Atlantis videos, and can you talk a little bit about that?
This is funny how I actually made my channel. I was up one night looking through pictures of Antarctica. It just fascinates me down there, and a really high resolution picture came in. It looked like it had pyramids on it, all sorts of statues and things like that. So I made a video, Civilization, and it's a horrible video. Half of the sound works, and for any video to go viral, it's the one down there. It's almost got 2 million. That was the one.
Your first 10 videos you get a pass on, I think.
Yeah, I hope so, because it's a horribly long video where it's a lot of rambling. It was done in the middle of the night, but it definitely it launched my channel. I came back and I looked at my 6 months later after I made that, and there was about 500,000 hits. And I said, "Whoa, I need to start doing this. I need to get my Mars stuff on here finally." Because the whole idea, I waited.
2 million now.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost got up to 2 million now, so it's been a staple of the channel. And oh boy, and it's brought me some hate too. I love the trolls that come with this one.
Your like to dislike ratio looks like one of our videos.
Yeah. Oh, this one brought the heat big time. And this is how I learned how to deal with all the trolls. And all the death threats and the people calling my cell phone in the middle of the night. It's amazing what putting yourself out there.
Did you call Will in the middle of the night, Sam?
I called him from Antarctica.
Well, if you could, it's amazing the come to God calls I'll get from people. I put my information out there. People could find me if they wanted to. It's one thing when you give your name out and you live somewhat of a public life. I'm at the wits of the media too. They could say I have Nazi helmets all around and send stuff out, but this video right here caused me a lot of emails, a lot of hate, but also got a lot of people who were interested in it and subbed the channel. So it started off the whole thing, and the first couple videos I did like this, and then I moved right up into the space anomalies, and it just kept rolling from there. But But this whole area, it's hard to
Just really
find now.
quickly.
Kyle.
People hate
Kyle,
success, and they were hating you over your clicks, not over the content. I promise you.
Yeah, Kyle.
Yeah.
The video has almost 2 million views, and like that's what people hate, right, Kyle?
Yeah, they hate the amount of clicks that you got, and that their channel where they talk about Lady Gaga has none. That's what they're mad about.
Well, guys, I felt like I really got to a lot of the stuff that I wanted to ask Will about. Is there anything, Kyle and Sam, that
I
you
got
wanted
two
to
more I wanted to zip through because I had planned it so we go further and further out to the solar system. I'll make them quick. This is New Horizons has this up. Pluto, well, it's got a long name. Happy birthday, Clyde Tombaugh. New Horizons returns new images of Pluto. Pluto discoverer. This was dated the 4th. Clyde Tombaugh could only dream of a spacecraft flying past the small planet that he spotted on the edges of the solar system in 1930. Yet the newest views of Pluto from NASA's Approaching New Horizons probe, released today on the late American astronomer's birthday, hint at just how close that dream is to coming true. He died in '97. He was born in 1906. It said it's their birthday gift to him. The images of Pluto, clearly brighter and closer than those New Horizons just took last July, from twice as far away, represent our first steps at turning the pinpoint of light Clyde saw in the telescopes at Lowell University 85 years ago into a planet before the eyes of the world. That should happen, it says, this summer. It goes on that the new images taken with New Horizons telescope long-range reconnaissance imager on January 25th, my birthday, and 27th, were the first acquired during the spacecraft's 2015 approach to the Pluto system, which culminates with a close flyby of Pluto and its system of moons on July the 14th. So that's something to be looking forward here. There's a couple of little dots for those that want to look at what we can see of it so far.
Yeah, let's see. Where are those pictures?
The new pictures came back. They're pretty cool.
It's at the bottom of the article. If the D-Lake has it up, I'm going to click back over.
There's already controversy about those pictures. There's a big bright light up in the top left-hand corner of Pluto. It almost looks like it looks illuminated for something. We're not sure what it is. Nobody knows exactly what it is yet. But I just all I see is a picture of a moon on my screen. I don't know if you guys are looking at it.
Motherfucker. Come on.
D-Lake, you're slacking, buddy.
Yeah, D-Lake. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Guys, I was going to the bathroom real quick. What's going on?
Well,
Can you scroll down?
Down.
How dare you use the bathroom?
He was stroking it.
How dare I?
All right, here, down. I think it was in here. And I don't know if they were in here or not. Either way, I think he's off of it now. He already clicked through.
Okay.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting. That spacecraft will be there here soon. It'll be there by, I think, summer, and it's going to give us some pretty close-up of Pluto. So it's going to be interesting. I don't think because Pluto is the one that's not a planet anymore. I'm pretty sure.
No, yeah, it's
planet.
And Will, how do you feel about these moons and other planets being called dwarfs? I mean, isn't that politically incorrect to call them dwarfs?
Yeah, you know, honestly,
I don't really know how tall you are, Will, but I mean that seems a little insensitive to me. And Sam mentioned that Pluto might be offended that these other planets are dwarfs. I mean,
do you type in actual pictures of Pluto? I gotta see these. I'm intrigued.
There's a lot of
probably a lot of fakes, Photoshop. Let's see what we got.
This looks like Star Wars.
Do you gotta type in New Horizon?
Search for something that was
New Horizon Pluto picture.
February 4th. Yeah, any of those.
I have to know.
This is really interesting.
Okay.
Down.
Is that it right there?
That's part of its approach. Keep going down a little bit more.
That one looks real. Fox News.
Automatically a fake on Fox News.
This has got to be a real one. Wow. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's real. That's real. Like that is real. That's
Fox
the video.
News
That
will
is
fudge the
legit.
facts, but they'll give you a real picture.
I don't see the ones from. I don't see the ones from NASA, but they're. Hold on.
Well, okay.
Either way, I mean, it's interesting. You guys can go to if you guys go to the NASA website, anybody out there's actually interested in it, it's in the latest pictures there. The NASA website's pretty easy to navigate. They make it.
Well, how do you feel about NASA? I mean, how do you feel about the politics of funding NASA?
You know, it's going to always be funded. Who knows how much they'll be funded? It's one of those things where, I mean, our government's. We went up and battled these people.
Here's a better way to put
Paul.
that question. How do you feel about the funding of government versus private sector space exploration?
There you go.
I think there's room for everybody. Any money that wants to get thrown up, this is money I like to see spent. You know, I don't mind seeing it.
Yeah.
I've said before, I wish with our taxes, like when you do your taxes, I think you should be able to check boxes of what you want your money to be evenly distributed between, and if they did that, we would have no money for war, and we'd be on fucking Mars tomorrow.
You know, I was totally wrong. It was Sirius. I was wrong. It was the other planet that I think New Horizons took a picture of this as well.
Here we go. It might be this one. I was excited about the last one. I gave 4 articles where we go further and further. We got NBC News. Far out, astronomers say 2 unknown planets may lurk beyond Pluto. Planet X might actually exist, and so might Planet Y. It says at least 2 planets larger than Earth likely lurk in the dark depths of space far beyond Pluto, just waiting to be discovered. A new analysis of the orbits of extreme trans-Neptunian objects suggests. Researchers studied 13 ETNOs, frigid bodies such as the dwarf planet Sedna that cruise around the sun at greater distances in elliptical paths. Theory predicts a certain set of details for ETNO orbits. Study team members said, for example, they should have a semi-major axis or average distance from the sun, which is about 150 astronomical units. These orbits should also have an inclination relative to the plane of the solar system of almost 0 degrees, among other characteristics. But the actual objects of the 13 ETNOs are quite different, with semi-major axes ranging from 150 to 525 AU and average inclinations of 20 degrees. This excess of objects with unexpected orbital parameters makes us believe that some invisible forces are altering the distribution of the orbitable elements, and we consider that the most probable explanation is that other unknown planets exist beyond Neptune and Pluto. Lead Arthur Carlos de la Fuente Marcus.
Unfortunately, when I start to play the video,
it's a lie.
Williams,
it's a lie. It's Bill. He's lying about it.
He's all,
he was killed on a Pluto mission.
I was on the Pluto mission. We got hit by a rocket-propelled grenade, Will.
Yeah, I had to duck under the spacecraft. It was crazy. There were grays shooting at us.
Yeah,
it was wild.
There were these aliens that died right at my feet, and I saved them.
I would like to suggest that Rachel Maddow be sent to a lifelong mission to Mars.
I agree. I'll second that.
You know,
let's start a Kickstarter. Send Rachel Maddow into space.
I don't want her to be I don't want her to get Maggie Lou's fame and be the first one to deliver a baby on Mars. I prefer that blonde
Maggie
Asian chick got that one. But
how many dudes do you think signed up?
As for that Planet X and Y, before you guys keep going on that, there's probably more out there that they're figuring out. I mean, there's every exoplanet, every planet out there has pull on stuff, and there's always been these variations that astronomers just couldn't figure out. Yeah, these little wobbles and things, and would pull things just out of what our modules weren't finding. Our computer, they don't sync up, so they're going to keep on finding stuff. And as our technology gets better and better,
I just saw recently there's a company, we talked about it on the show, I think. They came out with this new paint that is like blacker than perfect black. And they actually showed it. They took tinfoil, they crumpled it up, and then they spray painted it with this special paint, and it looks like it's solid because it's so black that you can't see depth. And
it's not paint, they actually grow it.
Yeah, it's made from carbon fiber tubes, and we were. I think Sam, did you bring this up on the show, or was it Dee?
Brought it up, dude.
You brought it up?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. I don't know, maybe it was in Sam's Science News, but yeah,
I think it's come up in both of our reports.
Yeah,
but the
they
basic
grow
to
the
get-
fiber, and it'll specialize in making the
Space
video images and the pictures more clear because it significantly reduces the reflection of light because it's so
yeah, they
black.
can get more like HD, more clear pictures that they can search further into. So like yeah, just something like that, we can get pictures 10 times better of even like Mars. You know, like
Yeah, one little technology sparks the
And
sparks the revolution.
there's a lot
No,
of
but-
theories too about bacterial life in the clouds of Venus, and you see so little about that.
Yeah, there's
yeah, and there it goes, we're bringing up the clouds on Venus. Look, me and Sam are always in competition and competing to like try to bring the best science news. I mean, he is the science major, but sometimes I'm like, Sam, what about this for science? But like, and then I'm like, hey, let's get Will Farrar on the show to talk from What's Up in the Sky 37.
Oh, you should have said it. He's like, I know him. I don't believe you just quoted him. I know him.
Yeah, Sam brought your coffin on Mars, what looks like a coffin, discovery
knowing he knew.
onto the show, and I'm like, Will Ferrari, I fucking know that guy!
I watched that.
talking about bacteria on Venus. How about this one? A question for Will Farrar. Have you heard the theory that we were actually human life and life in general was seeded on the planet Earth by magic mushroom spores on an asteroid?
No, I haven't heard that one. I've heard it was seeded by Martians leaving, but this is a new one for me.
It's actually been found that fungi spores can live in the vacuum of space and can live for very, very long periods of time, and it's thought that hallucinogenic mushrooms were actually seeded on an asteroid that made it to Earth, and that's what sparked intelligent thought in primates.
Well, now's not the time to pitch your new Hollywood screenplay, okay?
It's real!
But
since you did mention Hollywood, and since we've already gone over an hour and a half, I think it might be a good time to segue into entertainment, unless either of you gentlemen, Sam or Kyle, have.
I have a great segue.
I'm going to take my dog out and listen. I'll be right back.
I have a great segue for entertainment. Can I ask a question to you, D-Lake, and to Will? Now, you know, like they have this program where you can go, you hear the commercials around Christmas time, where you can actually buy the name of a star, right? Like the star registry.
Oh, yeah.
And
Star
say,
Registry.
like, yeah, do it for a Christmas present. Buy your wife a star. So here's my question. When it comes to things like this, like, in my town, there's this building called the Dole Mansion. It's the oldest building in town, and it's like where they have like gatherings and like a carnival in the lawn in front of it once a year and stuff. And it's like the center of Crystal Lake. And they were trying to renovate the building. And so what they were doing to gain money was they have in the front entryway to this mansion, there's like this brick wall, and you could buy a brick. For $100, you could buy, it was like a copper plaque that they'd put on a brick that said whatever you wanted, and they said that's how we're going to fund the restoration, and that brick, as long as the Dole Mansion is there, that brick will always be there with whatever you had put on it. So I had $100 extra, and I got one that says Kyle Phillips freaking rocks. Now, you know that there's people doing the same thing with the star registry. You know that there's a star out there named like Tim Has a Big Dick. So when we start exploring space further and like going out to other planets and other solar systems, is there going to come a time where we find a solar system where there's a planet that has actual life on it and it's a huge scientific breakthrough, and the people on the news have to say, we found a planet in the solar system of the star Tim Has a Big Dick? Like, will they have to do that because they sold the names to all these stars?
Well, that's what I'm gonna name my real estate on the moon. But Tim stole my name. It was gonna be Big D Lake's Big Dick, the country. But Will, how do you feel about that?
well, about y'all's big dicks, or
Just about the general. Like, it's
about the general concept of I think those companies are just fly-by-night companies that are not going to, you know what I mean? They exist on paper. It's basically like buying somebody a greeting card or buying them.
Will, do you have a star named after you already?
No, I don't have a star named after me. Maybe that's why.
Ideas.
Will Big Dick the star.
Nobody loves me.
I'm gonna name a star. How much does it cost? I'm gonna look it up. How much does it cost to get a star that says Will Farrar is a big dick?
It's got to be $100. $100 for D-Lake. It's got to be $100 for me.
Does
Yeah.
it? Will the star registry, like, are they recognized by NASA in the future when they find a colony on a planet near that star? Will they have to honor that
good
name?
question. Yeah, is the star
No.
registry recognized by NASA? Will?
The government will not recognize anything like that. That's not even. They'll be renaming stuff. Believe it'll be renamed whatever they want it to be renamed, and you will live with it. So.
Oh wait,
I was
because
like, that was my star. I paid $100 for that.
I know, right?
Because these star names are copyrighted with their telescopic coordinates in the book Your Place in the Cosmos, future generations. Okay, it's bullshit. NASA won't recognize it. Damn it.
Yeah, they're
Alright,
just selling. It's just a company selling greeting cards, basically, or selling your stationery, selling your dream.
Prices.
It's a great idea, though. I wish I was on it first. I wish I had thought about it.
Yeah, you'd be a millionaire, right?
Yeah,
How much?
I know. I'm sure there's plenty of stars out there.
Is this segueing into entertainment? And do we have an entertainment theme song yet, Kyle? Because we really need one.
I know we need one. I need to make one. $54, by the way, plus shipping and handling. What are you shipping and/or handling?
He's not handling anything, guys. So, thank you, guys. D-Lake, thanks for having me on, man. It's always good to talk to you.
Whoa!
You guys let me go or what? You guys, what's going on here for entertainment?
We're segueing into entertainment where we talk about the newest and awesome stuff that we've seen recently in entertainment news. Have you seen any good movies recently, Will? Did you see Interstellar? That seems like one that you would go see.
Interstellar, I did not go see it. I don't go to the movies a lot. I'm not like that afternoon movie guy. I watch too many documentaries. That's my issue. If I'm watching something, it's usually documentary or something.
All right. Well, so what have you seen good recently on YouTube or documentary-wise? Kyle,
I saw the interview on Netflix. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so I liked in the beginning with the Eminem stuff. That was hilarious. That was a good movie. I mean, I'm more of like if I want to watch something and enjoy something, I'll watch like Family Guy, Brickleberry, American Dad. I like cartoons
Do you have
adults.
Netflix?
I got Netflix and Hulu. I don't know if I can live without those anymore. What's that?
You watch BoJack Horseman?
No, I have to check it out.
Pretty
I'm always looking
decent.
for something new.
Yeah, because like I don't have cable. I have Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon Prime. I don't believe in cable. I think it supports a horrible paradigm of bullshit news and bullshit media, so I refuse to have anything to do with it. I only go with third party, and I found the only people who have cable anymore are people who watch sports, which I don't. But yeah, I love Netflix, everything on there, and like I have to agree, like I make fun of people who watch sports a lot, but I'm just as guilty. I watch Family Guy and American Dad, like love the Cleveland Show. Disappointed that that's gone.
Yeah.
I watched the Super Bowl last week and I streamed it live.
How'd you do
NBC had
that?
a live stream. NBC had a live stream, and I didn't even have to pay for cable. But I was trying to watch new episodes of Agent Carter, the show I mentioned like a week or two ago on the entertainment section, and the newest episodes now say verify to watch, and I have to verify that I pay for cable, which I do not.
Yeah, which is like if I had cable, why would I be watching it here?
Yeah, because it's all about licensing.
Exactly.
I hate that.
That's why I refuse to do anything that has to do with it.
I'm getting caught up with the new episodes of Gotham, and Gotham is a surprisingly really good show about
pretty good.
the early days in Gotham City where Batman is from, and those commercials are playing all day today on the beginning of all of Will's videos on your channel, Will.
Are they?
Yeah.
I accidentally click them.
Don't feel bad. It's a good show. It's a good
Will's
show.
like any commercial before one of my videos, please click it.
I did not say that. I did not say that.
I said it. Will didn't say
that.
it.
From YouTube if I click the Gotham link.
If you actually read the terms and conditions of being a YouTube partner,
my account.
He could get banned for saying that, as we could if we said that to people on our accounts. So Will did not say that.
Oh, jeez, man. When it said read all the terms and conditions, I just scrolled down real fast and clicked next.
Yeah.
So I don't want to mess up and illegally promote anything here. But Gotham a good show. I'm allowed to say
It
that,
is.
right?
I've watched a few episodes of it, and I watched Agent Carter too, which I enjoyed.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we watched like 2 or 3 episodes of it. I've been looking for something really good to watch. Like, you find a good show. The Kroll Show was amazing. Got through that in like one day. Adam Devine's House Party is a really good show for some stand-up comedy. That's really about it. Like I said, I'm going to see Duncan
John
Trussell
Wick.
next.
Do you know what
John
I
Wick.
watched? I saw it when I was really young. It was made in 1972, the original Tales from the Vault. Then we watched the original Tales from the Crypt movie, which was old. It's a Hammer film, so that's what I've seen recently.
Really dated, yeah. And there was the show too, which I think was on like HBO.
Yes, we've watched all of those 100 times. We had to go on our time machine.
I was talking to D.
That was great.
Both of us watched Edge of Tomorrow, the movie where Tom Cruise fights aliens. That was pretty decent. It was a good movie.
Whatever you do, watch Black Mirror. We tell everybody that comes on to the show to watch Black Mirror, and they're always happy that they do.
Yeah, Black Mirror's dope. Definitely watch Black Mirror and Snowpiercer. Those are like the 2 best ones.
Yeah, that's some of our best, most recent, like awesome entertainment news. But Will, how's everything going for you in the brand new year? I mean, how do you feel about this being a new year, 2015? Are you still writing 2014 on your checks, or how's that going for you?
Nah, man. I'm excited for a new year. It was a rough year last year. I lost my dad at the beginning of the year. He passed away of a heart attack in his sleep. Unexpected, too.
Oh, that's hell. That happened to me 2 years ago. That is hell.
Yeah, it's hell, man.
My mom died in August, so yeah, I lost right in a row. So I'm looking forward to a new year as well.
Yeah, man, just getting along. It was a year of figuring out, man, he did a whole lot of stuff, and now I got to figure out how to do it and make sure it all gets done. But other than that, I mean, it's been a great year for the websites and just in general when it comes to the information that's out there and getting out there. More and more people are interested in it. Like I said, the what'supinthesky.com has grown by leaps and bounds since I first put it up. And I still can't believe people sit and watch the videos, and for as long as they do too. Some people really, I've got people who've gone through all 500 of the videos and commented on each one. So there's some diehards.
I watched about three hours last night. Yeah, so great stuff, man. I mean, and you've really come a long way, because I remember I first started watching, like we talked about, the Atlantis videos, had you on the show back in 2012. I mean, a little different format. I think this show went much better, and I really appreciate you being on the show today, Will.
Yeah, buddies. I appreciate you guys having me on. It was a lot of good time. Anytime you guys want me to come on as your Mars moon guy, you just let me know.
I vote for the week of July when the thing hits Pluto. I think we should schedule that week.
We'll definitely have you on. Yeah, we'll definitely have you on in the future to talk about space and science. And Sam, we have to have a little discussion with you after the show about your future at the Media Speaks.
Yes, it's all over.
All right, guys. Like I said, I appreciate it. What's up in the sky?
Yeah, you guys were getting all carried away. I'm like, guys, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have Will on every week now. I mean,
yeah, right.
I want to hold him to that.
All right, but soon in the future, we're all about the future.
You know me. Send me the link, and if I'm here, I'm on.
We'll definitely send you some.
Sam, do you have a science report?
Yeah, yes, but I gave you the 4 I had. We can go for another one if anybody's
what else
going to
you got, man? Let's do a science report. Kyle, hit the theme song.
Peace, guys.
It's time to learn some science. So here's Sam with the science front.
Greetings, unsettled souls. Welcome to News from the Science Front. If this gets cut from the other show as its own segment, we are returning to Earth, having just done a remarkable entire show about space. This is from WND.com. Man awakens from 12 years in vegetative state. I almost said Martian. That's great. Martin Pistorius fell into a mysterious coma when he was a vibrant 12-year-old boy in the 1980s. He found himself locked inside his own body, unable to speak, make eye contact, or even move his own limbs. Martin's doctors told his parents, Rodney and Joan Pistorius, that the boy had crypto-ochi meningitis. They said that Martin should be taken home to die in peace. But Martin would live 12 more years in that vegetative state. Jones said Martin just kept going, just kept going. According to NPR, Martin's father would wake up every day at 5 a.m., dress the boy, put him in the car, and drive him to a special care center. 8 hours later, I'd pick him up, bathe him, feed him, put him in bed, set the alarm for 2 hours so that I'd wake up to turn him so that he would not get bed sores, Rodney recalled. And during those 12 years, according to the Pistorius family, there was never any indication whatsoever that Martin's condition was improving at all. One day, Joan, in a state of hopelessness, told her son that I hope you die. She never imagined that Martin would have understood those dreadful words. But by the time he was 14 or 15 years old, Martin began to awaken. Yes, I was there, not there from the very beginning, but about 2 years into my vegetative state, I began to wake up, Martin recalls. I was aware of everything, just like any normal person. Everyone was so used to me not being there that they didn't even notice that I began to be present again. The stark reality hit me that I was going to spend the rest of my life like that, totally alone. It'd be horrifying. Martin had even heard his mother's cruel words. You don't really think about anything, he said. You simply exist. It's a very dark place to find yourself because, in a sense, you are allowing yourself to vanish. Martin added, as time passed, I gradually learned to understand my mother's desperation. Every time she looked at me, she could see only a cruel parody of her once healthy child who she had loved so much. It goes on, at the care center every day, Martin's caregivers played Barney reruns. They, too, believed he was a vegetable. He said, I cannot even express how much I hate
fucking Barney.
He said he could not even express his hatred. Martin, now 39, is in full control of his body. He's married and lives a normal life in Harlow, England. In the book, my mind was trapped inside a useless body. It's a book called Ghost Boy, excuse me. My arms and legs weren't mine to control, and my voice was mute. I couldn't make or sign or sound to anyone, though I was aware again. I was invisible. I was the Ghost Boy. I thought that was both uplifting and utterly terrifying at the same time.
Yeah, and his life during that time was hell. His caregivers didn't think that they thought he was a vegetable. He thought they was brain
dead.
So
at any day, yeah, you could get the plug pulled.
So they would feed him boiling hot soup, just not even really caring about it. They would neglect him. They would put him in ice cold baths. They would set him in uncomfortable, like just the smallest thing of if they set you in an uncomfortable, huh?
Could he feel it when they put him in
Yes, he could feel everything. Like I just listened to they did a great episode about this guy on a brand new podcast from NPR called Invisibilia, and they talked about this guy, and it's a little misleading. He doesn't have full control of his body. He still has to speak with a clicker like Stephen Hawking, and he's still in a wheelchair, but he willed himself out of this because think about it. He was a grown man inside of this body. They think he's brain dead. They put Barney on every day. He can't move at all. He learned how to tell the time of day by looking at shadows, and because it was so unbearable to watch Barney that by watching the time based on shadows, he could tell how long until it was over. He said the best time of his life was like a 5-second time when they would take him between his wheelchair and the bed because that's when all the pain in his body from constant immobileness went away slightly.
Oh my God, that just sounds like a Stephen King nightmare where it's like you can feel, see, think, hear everything. You can't talk. You're sort of like your body is sort of paralyzed, and these nurses are just like fucking Misery, the movie, taking advantage of your body and stuff, and just like, oh my God.
Yeah, and like surprisingly, like he seems like a really, really fucking cool dude because he could have sued the fuck out of those nurses. He could have sued everybody. Like he could have done, but he didn't. Yeah. He's just like he's happy to be able to communicate and say that he's alive, and he's married and stuff.
Yeah, I like as soon as he like achieved full recovery, he's like, what do I need now? A hot blonde.
Wow, she's actually very attractive. I never saw a picture of her.
Yeah, so.
And he's like a web developer and stuff now. Like he was like, his parents even said that before like this happened, he was like remarkably smart for his age.
Yeah, that'd be my
Like,
first one too.
he was like, like 6 years old and helping his dad hook up the VCR and stuff like that. Like, just like remarkably intelligent. And then he just went into this state where his only form of entertainment was Barney for like 12 years.
Yeah, Sam, how come when he woke up he didn't want to instantly become a big giant purple dinosaur, Sam?
I bet you there's nothing in his house that's purple for very long. I think.
Can you imagine it though? Like, he talked about on the podcast, they interviewed him like with his voice modulation machine or whatever, but he said like, can you imagine how hard it would be as like, a 13-year-old, 15, however old he was, young, sitting in that bed, unable to move, able to hear everything, know everything, think to yourself, but just like completely isolated, and your mom says, "I hope you die." And like he said, like, don't blame his mom, don't be mad at her. Like, he wanted to die at that time as well, and he understood that it came from a loving place, that she loved him so much she couldn't bear to see him like that, But like how hard that would be. Just like imagine like you get just like an unbearable fucking itch on your foot and you're wearing shoes and so you got to go take your shoe off and itch it. Imagine if you couldn't take your shoe off and itch it. You know what I mean? Like, just shit like that. Like, that would be a torturous life. I'm surprised this guy isn't just like murderously, like violently angry, writing fucking rage porn.
Oh my god.
Like, it just seems like, I'm glad you brought up this story because I was listening to the podcast about it and I was like almost like on the verge of crying. It sounded like such a horrible existence. Like,
I had this story sitting there forever, and I could, how you thin the herd, didn't get to it. If those Facebook followers of me will know, sometimes I'll throw stories up that I think are interesting but could never get to on the show. I could not get rid of this, Kyle. I could not hit remove delete from the bookmark.
And it's like the power of the body over the mind too, because like he's like the only one who's come out of this. His life was so fucking horrible that he willed himself to move. Like, that's amazing.
Incredible.
There's no scientific explanation for how he did that. Like,
how many people have lived and known that the plug was about? The good thing I got from this story was,
what if Barney turned out to be his? He's like, fucking Barney.
Well,
full motivation.
This is kind of creepy on a personal front because my mom ended up in a state where she couldn't communicate. But she hated her feet tickled. If you tickled her feet, she would jump. So they said she was getting a pain response. So my brother and I had the pleasure of telling her that if she didn't start moving, it was Friday night, that we were going to have to pull the plug Monday morning. And then when we had to tell her what we were going to do, we only had to assume that she could hear. And we started downloading her favorite music on the cell phone from YouTube and just playing it as we pulled the plug. And having listened to this, I'm just about certain she knew that we were telling her that we were pulling the plug in 2 days, pulling the plug in 1 day. You've got one more chance, Mom, and then we're doing it. So, I mean, we did it as best we could, and I'm happy that I've seen that story. But at the same time, it's like, man, could you imagine thinking, man, I'm going to die in 2 days if I don't move? And you kind of wonder, was she aware, does it seem longer or whatever? It goes through your mind. But at least she knows, if nothing else, even if it was hell and everything associated, she knows we tried.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody in that state would blame you for doing that. And I mean, this guy is the 1 in 7 billion chance of coming out of it. Like, literally those. Well,
she had so many other problems that her life wasn't going to be that great if she did.
Yeah,
I'm sure the way that he was trapped in this ghost boy state, there's a lot of times that he wishes they probably would pull the plug, and like
he said that he did.
Yeah, he must have admitted that. Like, look, Sam, very heartfelt story. It's really hard to follow that, but I mean, I'm sure whatever was going on was what was supposed to be going on.
Oh yeah, well, the takeaway being, be very careful what you say to someone like that, even if they're just unconscious and will fall in the steps.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, just because you think they're a vegetable doesn't necessarily mean they're a vegetable. I mean, take Ghost Boy for example. great story in the science news, Sam. Thank you. Thanks to Will Farrar for being on the show. He dropped out shortly after the entertainment. Sam, go ahead.
Oh, I said you're welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you again, Sam.
By the way, if I'm ever
you're
a
so
vegetable,
brilliant.
leave my plug alone. Don't fucking touch my plug.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
Netflix put in front of me. D-Lake's in charge of my queue.
Okay, like
No Barney.
I'll be like whatever you. I'll be like, what do you want to watch next? Kyle and I will work out some kind of blinking system, or like, oh, you didn't
I'll
blink.
try my
Okay,
best
no,
to
switch
blink.
the channel. I'll be like, oh yeah, I know what you like, and then like it'll be fucked up, Kyle, because you'll be like paralyzed and can't move or talk, and you're like, fucking this again, but like you can't say anything. And I'm just fucking watching the same shit over and over. Oh, that'd be terrible. Well, I believe today was a great show, and I'm really happy that Will came in to join us. Did you guys feel that you got like a lot of the questions that you wanted to ask him out on today's show?
Yes, not only that, but I have all of my space news, my non-Earth news has been given, so I have to find new space stuff.
Oh, Sam, did you purge your bookmarks today? Is that what you're trying to say?
I purged the space ones to a great degree. A lot of the science now I have is like Ghost Boy vitamin stuff, so it'll be interesting. I'll get some more space stuff though, for sure.
There's actually a lot of stuff Will brought up, and I mean everyone, please check out his channel on YouTube, What's Up in the Sky 37, and also his website www.whatsupinthesky.com for more of the stuff that we talked about on today's show. But
I'll be looking up the grunt and the moon thing from Mars. I didn't know about either one of those.
Yeah, Kyle, there's probably a few takeaways that you had too. Like, I'm going to look more into this like fake sand and NASA possibly potentially manipulating images. I'm going to look into that underwater base off the coast of Malibu. That one looks pretty cool to me. Maybe do some Atlantis research and Anunnaki research.
I want to know about that crop circle.
Yeah, that crop circle's crazy looking
right?
up.
All right, well,
talking to Will Farrar made me realize that I know way more about alien stuff than I'd like to admit.
Yeah, we're all gonna have to.
It's interesting stuff, though.
We're all gonna have to start a new channel all about our alien talk, right? Because it's a little different than what we normally talk about. But
the media speaks about aliens.com.
Yeah, the alienspeak.com. Or I don't know.
Sounds good.
Is that already taken?
Probably not. We can grab it. All right, tell people where to find us.
Everyone, please check out Pornhub. Oh, excuse me.
Alien boy.
I posted to Melissa Melton's page this week that article that we read last week about the cam whore at Oregon State University.
Yeah.
In the CNN article, they say that the video was featured on Pornhub.com. They tell you where to go. My friend was over watching the video, and he's like, go there. We go to Pornhub.com. The video was still up. It was the girl in the Oregon State Library doing a cam whore thing, showing her boobs. And
how many hits does she have?
You know, there's a website I recently found, PornMD.
It had over 1.4 views.
PornMD, I don't know that one.
PornMD.com. It's kind of like Google for porn. It searches all like Pornhub, YouPorn, XNXX, all the good ones that I've never been to, and it finds like stuff from all of those, and it actually has like top searches on the side, and top searches for the past like month have been like college library, like everything related to like that video is what people are
searching. PornMD.com. See, I don't have to go to basementporn.com anymore.
No.
PornMD.com.
Guys.
Yeah.
We got to be really careful. We're on my channel. Like, we're not allowed to promote.
Don't go there. We're not promoting. We're saying don't go there.
We're not allowed to say the names, but that's why I was commenting that CNN does that, but we're not allowed to do that. So, guys,
we're not doing it. Yeah, we're telling you not to go there.
We are not promoting that anybody. Nobody watch this and take away that we would be telling you to go to pornmd.com. We are not endorsing that.
No, I'm telling you to go to whatsupinthesky.com. Check out Will Farrar, very special guest today. It was a great show. And thank you, Kyle and Sam, for all that you brought to the show today, and myself, because we're so awesome and amazing. So everyone be sure to check us out on the internet.
The internet.
And if you don't find us, Kyle?
You're an idiot.